Howdy. Jolly Green here, your #1 guide to enjoying your thru hike. Today we're going to be talking about post-trail depression. What is it, and how is it that people could be so sad after having one of the best adventures of their life?
Adventure!
Today I'm going to be going into what post-trail depression is, and more importantly, one trick that I used that cured it almost instantly. So follow me, because I know it's October now, at least at time of recording, and people are just now getting home from their Appalachian Trail thru hike.
Honey, I'm home!
And it might be getting to the point that you're starting to feel this. The waves of sadness as you feel different parts of your life missing. Many of you have, in your own ways, conquered, grown, and seen what it is to do hard things, and now have an adventure of a lifetime under your belt. But then we get home, and once we get home, we see that life for other people have really stood still, comparatively speaking. We've been on adventures, we've been hiking hundreds of miles, we've been making new friends and living truly high highs for months now at this point. And it can feel like a really big crash out whenever we get back home. And I found that there were 3 really big obstacles for me whenever I got back home. I had lost a lot of the simplicity and purpose that I had for several months at this point. For many months, all I had to do was go north. I had a purpose, I had a goal, and the only things that I had to do to accomplish it were make sure I had everything in my bag ready, make sure I was going the right direction, and make sure I didn't die along the way. That simplicity really built up a sense of purpose in my life that once I was back home and off trail was very suddenly gone. It was all about the lack of consistency for me, because every day I had woken up with a goal and a direction to go. There was also the very physical withdrawal of once you're hiking hundreds of miles a month, you are pushing yourself very physically, and this physical activity releases a lot of endorphins, and these endorphins are feel-good chemicals in the brain that let you know that you are doing and accomplishing hard things. It's the body's way of rewarding you for accomplishing hard goals. However, whenever you're home, you've got to go to a job and work and stuff, and you've probably got a house to clean and family to take care of, and not enough time in the day to hike for 12 hours a day. And that can be an actual physical withdrawal. While you were hiking the Appalachian Trail, I'm sure you made some of the best friends in the world. While it's fantastic that you met these people and you all were going through the same struggles in your life, it quickly becomes apparent whenever you're back home that you don't have that same bond with other people back home. And even trying to call people that you know and call your fellow thru hikers and seeing where people are at helps, but it's closer to a band-aid on the situation, where you're finding yourself that you just miss the community and the people that you had more. And it's much more difficult back in the real world to find and establish friendships as strong and as quickly as that. Now that we know what it is, so what? I mean, you've had your happy adventure, and now you're going to go and be like everyone else. And it can be depressing. And that brings us to our final point. What could you possibly do to battle feelings like this? Where you're back home, you're back in the real world, you don't have a sense of community, you don't have a sense of consistency anymore, and your brain is going through withdrawal symptoms all at the same time, and it can leave you crashing out. Well, that's going to bring us to how I cured my post-trail depression almost instantly. And it was all the thanks to the help of our dear editor, Jarek. My trick was I used a concept called the standing social engagement, where if you're an adult, it becomes very difficult to schedule social interaction with people that you care about and have hobbies of their own and lives of their own. But whenever you set a time that is going to be the same consistently every single week, week after week, you can very quickly find that it replaces that sense of loss and purpose by having a little bit of consistency. As long as it stays consistent, it's much easier for other people to plan their lives around it and start to join you whenever these things become more consistent. This also helps in the concept of losing your sense of community, because you've been hiking and having things in common with some of the best friends of your life. And now that you're going to the real world, where you lose a lot of that sense of identity and community, it can become really difficult to lose your tramily. And it becomes very important to start building a new one here in the real world. And finally, with those senses of withdrawal, it's been proven time and time again that the things that help the most with helping other people get through hard times are the bonds that they have with other people. So what's the point of this whole video? It's for me to say that the cure for post-trail depression is Dungeons and Dragons!
I am Dungeon Master, your guide in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons.
That's right, Dungeons and Dragons, the cure for post-trail depression. As soon as I got back home, I was able to slip right back into my Dungeons and Dragons game. And by having a weekly game with people that I love, I was able to have that consistency. I was able to have a point in my life that was going to be a purpose-driven, fun hangout with some of my closest friends so that I could still get a lot of that social interaction and get the help that I needed while I was in some of the worst withdrawals of my life. So simply put, the number one cure for post-trail depression is Dungeons and Dragons. Or, whatever hobby that you actually have. The point is you have to have the standing social engagement where you consistently, whether it's the last Thursday of a month or Wednesday every week, you find a hobby, you find a community, and you build it consistently. And with these tools, you can quickly slide back into the real world and avoid all of the symptoms of post-trail depression, and you can start living a better life knowing that you've grown from the trail and not had to give it up. I love you all, and let us know down in the comments how post-trail depression has affected you, and if you have your own weekly, monthly, standing social engagement that is keeping you sane in these hard times.